Why is Team Tszyu dodging questions about rematch with Fundora? So clearly, there were people saying there was a rematch clause. There were people who were uncertain. We've heard from Tim Tszyu's promoter that there is, in fact, a rematch clause, but they seem apprehensive on committing to the rematch clause. It doesn't seem like they're fully committed to activating the rematch clause, which, if you watch my last video, is shocking to me because I believe Tim Tszyu is in a rare position where if he could avenge his loss to Fundora in impressive fashion, most people will still see him as being kind of an undefeated fighter, similar to Roy Jones when he lost to Montel Griffin in the first fight, where he hit Montel Griffin when he took a knee and he got disqualified, and that was his first loss. And then in a rematch, he destroyed Montel Griffin, and the rest of his career until he lost again to Tarver, people were looking at him like he was virtually an undefeated fighter and untouchable. It didn't hurt his career at all. Well, when you look at the way Tszyu took Fundora on 12 days notice, which everyone knew was a dangerous fight based on his physical stature, his boxing ability, and how he is completely opposite and even an even more dangerous fight than Keith Thurman to most people. People respect the fact he took that fight on 12 days notice. When you look at the fact he dominated the first 2 rounds, then he suffered an elbow and continued to fight through with blood in his eyes. And if you look at the amount of blood that was dripping from his head, you knew it had a negative impact on his body, but also on his performance. And still, he fought to a split decision loss. If he was able to avenge that loss in an impressive, emphatic fashion like Roy Jones, most people would see him as still being that guy, still being somewhat undefeated because they would understand the odds and the circumstances that he went through, like Roy Jones. They would look at it as like, yeah, he has an L, but he never took a loss, right? So I think the rematch would be extremely important for Tszyu, but again, his team hasn't fully committed to it. We're going to listen to what his promoter said, and then we're going to listen to what Tszyu said about the rematch, and then we'll talk about it in greater detail. So here's Tszyu's promoter talking about the rematch clause.
Can you someone tell us exactly what the rematch clause says?
He knows there's a rematch clause there. He knows there's a rematch. If we want to take it, we'll take it. And I'd love to see Tim take that and win the belt straight back. So I'm happy for a rematch to happen next. And good luck trying to get out of it.
You know the
So the way he's speaking about it to me is very uncertain, and I don't know if the uncertainty is whether or not he fears that Fundora won't honor the rematch clause. But as we saw with Deontay Wilder, who was a former PBC fighter, take that to arbitration. If they try to make another fight with Terrence Crawford or Earl Spence, go to court, try to get an injunction, see what you can do. But again, remember that the rematch clause is there. So I would like to hear him say, yeah, we're activating it. Not, I would like for us to, he's using a lot of the words, a lot of the dodgy words that I don't accept from Devin Haney and Bill Haney. I'm not accepting it here. I want to hear definitively, yes, we're activating the rematch clause. We want Sebastian Fundora next. I don't know why they're talking about fighting anyone else but Tszyu. We're getting our belts back. Why wouldn't he want to fight him next? He just took his belts. He just took Tszyu's belts, fam. Like, you fight to be a champion, right? Everyone was calling Tszyu. Well, I won't say everyone. I don't like doing that. I was saying how he won the belt. He won his first belt via email. And we want to see him actually defeat a champion. Now he loses his belts to Fundora, and there seems to be no urgency from his promoter to put his foot down and say, look, we are going for the rematch. We want our belts back. We caught a raw deal. We were preparing for weeks on end for Keith Thurman. He pulled out of the fight. We wanted to save the card. We were good sports about it. We took Sebastian Fundora. He got hit with an elbow in the second round. He couldn't see. We wanted to give the fans their money's worth. We didn't try to stop the fight. We fought through it. I think the world would agree that Tszyu is owed a rematch. Run it back. That's what he should have been saying. I don't like what he was saying. on the camera. So now we'll listen to what Tszyu had to say.
Able to confirm it. Is there a rematch clause, Tim? And do you feel like you want to run it back with Fundora?
Look, of course I would. You know, he's got my belt now, but I'm gonna have a little 2 week rest, and then I'll get back in the gym. You know, I think I want to fight the best. You know, I want to make the mega fights happen. We're able to do this at T-Mobile Arena. It's pretty unreal. You know, so the biggest fights possibly to make, and I'm still chasing the. You know, I still believe I'm at the very top of the tree.
All right. There's one thing I like and there's one thing I dislike about this video. Or about, not about the video, but about Tszyu's comments. So the one thing I like is he's not letting the loss get him down, because deep down inside, I don't feel like he believes he lost. And personally, as someone who's been watching boxing most of my life, who has a clear understanding of boxing, I don't think he lost either. I thought it was a draw, and if you force my hand, it could go one way or another. But scoring the fight and being in, I thought it was a draw. So I don't think he lost either. So I understand him sitting there feeling like, I can do it again, but do I really need to? But I thought it was a draw. That means I don't think he won, and I don't think Fundora won. I thought it was 6 rounds apiece. So, I mean, if you want to be satisfied with that, then be satisfied with that. But I do like the fact he doesn't feel defeated, because I don't think he should feel defeated based on all the other reasons why I stated prior. But here's what I dislike about the video, or about his comments during the video. He didn't definitively say that he wants the rematch. Again, make it known. He said, oh, of course I would want the rematch. He's got my belts now, but I want to make the biggest fights. No but, man. No but. No double speak. I want my belts back. I respect he got the victory today. I make no excuses, but again, I was preparing for a different opponent. That is just a fact. There was an unfortunate cut that took place in his fight. That was just a fact. I had to endure the blood flow plus him in his skill, which I give him credit for. He's a talented fighter. I would like the opportunity to run it back on with a level playing field. And I understand he took the fight on short notice too, right? But I'm the one who lost my titles, and I'm the one who suffered a cut because of a foul, not because of a punch. Yeah, he had to fight through blood. Yeah, he had to fight through adversity, but that was inflicted by my fist, which is legal under the Marcus of Queensberry rules. And in my case, he hit me with an elbow, or there was an elbow that caused the damage, right? And again, I'm not making a fuss about losing the fight. You win some, you lose some. He was a better man tonight. He got the decision. Kudos to him. I just want to activate my rematch clause and get a shot at getting my belts back, which I think I deserve, because it's the same opportunity I gave him on 12 days notice. Now we can run it back with both of us having full training camps, and winner takes all. No harm, no foul. Although there was a foul, but still, in this case, let's do it again. Winner takes all. I think that's fair. I think that is absolutely fair. And I would have loved to hear him be more definitive about having a rematch. So now to talk about why they're possibly dodging questions about the rematch is because, let's be honest, there's 2 bigger fights out there for both of them. Let's say hypothetically, Fundora does fight Earl Spence. He does fight Earl Spence. And Tszyu goes and he fights TC. Those are 2 bigger fights for the both of them, where they're going to make more money. So perhaps that's what he's talking about when he says, I want to fight the best. So let's swap it out. Let's say Crawford, because Crawford is WBO. Crawford said he's activating his mandatory. So Crawford activates, and let's say Fundora is like, okay, Let's do it. And so now you got Tszyu. Now you got Fundora versus Crawford. So Fundora versus Crawford. Now you got Tszyu and Earl Spence possibly. Two major fights again, where they both going to make more money than if they fight each other again. And at the end of the day, this is a business. Like I try to tell people, even with losing the belts, Tszyu's thinking about the business aspect of it. He's like, yeah, it was great to be champion, but it's even better to look at my bank statement and know that I'm set for life. This is what people don't understand. So I try to tell people in the end of the day, you want to be rewarded for all your hard work. You want rewards, you want benefits, right? And so again, I think they're looking at it, Team Tszyu, from a perspective of we want our belts, but let's see what's out there. Still, I think you commit to the rematch. Still, I think you verbally say you want the rematch. At least don't leave that wiggle room for Fundora to say, well, they never said they wanted the rematch. We'll get into the other options for Fundora in a second, but as far as Tszyu goes, I think he deserves a rematch. If I was him, I would be advocating for a rematch. I would be stating that I'm activating my rematch clause, because although there are other big fights out there, I do think that this is one of the rare times in boxing where if Tszyu can get the immediate rematch and knock out Fundora, he will erase a loss. He will erase the loss, because when he moves on, if he goes to fight Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford, people are going to say he has a loss, but he took the fight on 12 days notice. He suffered a cut after dominating the first 2 rounds, went 12 rounds with blood, lost a split decision, came back in an immediate rematch and sparked Fundora out. So many people see him as undefeated, and he's beaten everyone he's ever stepped in the ring with. That's what you want people to say. That's how you want it to be presented. That's the best case scenario when you have a loss. So for that reason, I think Team Tszyu should commit and really push forward and push hard for the rematch against Sebastian Fundora. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm out. Peace.